It started in a place called Hele Vides, far in the depths of the universe. Hele Vides is a fictional planet that exists in a galaxy far, far away. The world of Hele Vides is characterized by astonishing beauty and unparalleled technology that is far ahead of Earth's. There are a variety of different lifestyles and cultures on Hele Vides. The society is highly developed and harmonious, and the residents live in harmony with their environment. The architecture on Hele Vides is futuristic and a true work of art that respects and integrates the natural beauty of the landscape. The architecture of Hele Vides is undoubtedly innovative, sustainable and characterized by a deep connection to nature. She has created an inspiring and harmonious environment that enriches life on this fictional planet. Transparent and semi-transparent materials are widely used to make the most of daylight. These materials are used for both walls and roofs to create a bright and open atmosphere. The buildings are energy efficient and environmentally friendly, with integrated technologies to use renewable energy sources such as solar and wind energy. Green roofs and vertical gardens help improve air quality and create a harmonious environment. Some buildings float in the air thanks to advanced gravity neutralizing technologies. These are intelligent buildings that respond to the needs of their residents. This manifests itself in movable structures, self-cleaning surfaces and adaptive spaces. Holographic elements are integrated into the architecture to display visual effects and information. This will be used for both communication and art. Hele Vides has a culturally diverse society, and this is reflected in the architecture. Various buildings represent the cultural values and traditions of the residents of Hele Vides. The residents of Hele Vides are curious and inquisitive. They travel across the universe to study other life forms and interact with different cultures. Zara was one such researcher who came to Earth from the distant world of Hele Vides to observe and understand humanity. Their mission on Earth was meant to be a journey of discovery and learning, but their unusual magic changed Max's life and led to an unexpected, fateful adventure that would shape Max forever. Hele Vides remains a mysterious place in the vastness of the universe, and Zara returned there in the end, and Max was left with the memories of this extraordinary encounter. In the cozy streets of Munich, the architect Max led a tranquil life with his girlfriend Lena. Until that fateful day when an alien researcher named Zara from Hele Vides came to Earth to study humans. Zara was fascinated by humanity, but her interest was especially in Max. With a mysterious magic, she made him fall in love with her and robbed him of all self-determination. The encounter between Max and Zara was an unforgettable moment that occurred on a warm summer night in Munich. Max, the architect, and his girlfriend Lena were enjoying a romantic walk on the banks of the Isar when an unusually bright star appeared in the sky. This star was actually Zara's spaceship, which had landed on Earth to begin her research mission. When Zara stepped out of her spaceship to explore Earth, she was overwhelmed by Earth's natural beauty and cultural richness. In her curiosity and fascination with people, she approached Max and Lena who were lingering on the riverbank. She spoke to them to learn more about the human condition, and Max was immediately enchanted by her grace and charm. With a mysterious spell, Zara gave Max her undying love, and from then on he could only be interested in her. This spell led to a deep connection between Max and Zara that went beyond the normal. The encounter on that warm summer evening was the beginning of an extraordinary adventure that took Max and Lena into a world beyond their imagination. Max's life was changed forever when he met Zara and fell madly in love with her, unaware that she was an alien explorer with a hidden agenda. The spell that Zara cast on Max is alien and powerful in nature. He made Max madly in love with Zara and manipulated his thoughts and feelings. Zara's magic worked on multiple levels. Zara has advanced mental abilities that allow her to penetrate Max's mind and mind. She can influence his thoughts by placing subtle messages in his mind that influence his sensations and perception. Zara strengthens the emotional ties that Max has with her. She can create feelings of love and affection in his heart and intensify them so much that Max believes she is the only true love of his life. The spell creates a kind of illusion in which Max and Zara appear to have the perfect relationship. Everything seems harmonious and conflicts or problems are suppressed or concealed. Max is magically attracted to Zara and cannot escape her attraction. He feels irresistibly attracted to her and cannot keep a clear mind when she is around him. Max essentially loses his free will because he is so heavily affected by the spell. His own desires, interests and preferences are overshadowed by Zara. The separation of Max and his girlfriend Lena is tragic in the story and is characterized by a certain drama. After Max was enchanted by Zara and fell madly in love with the alien explorer, his life began to change dramatically. His relationship with Lena went into great turmoil as he was no longer interested in her and was instead dominated by Zara. Lena sensed that something strange and inexplicable was happening inside Max. She tried to talk to him about the changes in their relationship, but Max was unable to provide clear explanations and became increasingly distant. Eventually there was an emotional and painful conversation between Max and Lena, during which he confessed that he had fallen in love with someone else, Zara. However, he could not explain that Zara was an alien visitor with supernatural abilities. Lena, broken and confused, decided to end the relationship because she felt that Max had become estranged from her and no longer returned her love. The separation was painful for both of them, and Max suffered from a conflicted sense of despair as he continued to be controlled by Zara while also having to cope with the loss of Lena. The breakup with Lena was a painful turning point in Max's life, and it left him alone and deeply confused. His longing for Zara led to inner turmoil as he realized that the love he felt was the result of an unusual enchantment initiated by Zara. But he couldn't do anything about it. Max and Zara moved to the countryside to the remote village of Inode. This location was carefully chosen by Zara to create a quiet and isolated environment in which she could quietly carry out her research mission into humanity. Suddenly Max found himself far away from everything that was familiar to him. The village of Inode was located in the middle of a picturesque but lonely landscape, far from larger cities and crowds. No one was surprised that Zara seemed to have no past as she carefully hid her origins. She presented herself as a mysterious stranger who came from a faraway city to live a secluded, isolated life with Max. Although the villagers were curious, they respected Max and Zara's privacy. Zara's extraordinary nature and the fascinating story she told about her origins left many curious questions unanswered. It seemed as if she was a secret that Max had brought with him to the village. Zara's contours, like residents of Hele Vides, are soft and flowing, as if her body is slightly blurred or out of focus. When viewed, their outlines are slightly blurred, making it difficult to perceive their exact shapes. A shimmering aura surrounds her and accompanies her movements. This aura shimmers softly and in different colors, making its appearance mysterious and captivating. The facial features of the residents of Hele Vides are difficult to focus on. When looking at their faces, it appears as if multiple versions of their faces are slightly shifted, creating a unique and unforgettable look. It could give the impression that the residents of Hele Vides exist on several levels at the same time. This gives Zara's appearance a kind of holographic or multidimensional phenomenon. This unique visual experience of Zara's blurred and elusive nature made Max even more fascinated by Zara. His heart only beat for Zara, he would do anything for her. In the process, his former passions faded. Instead, he attended events that he had never been interested in before in Hamburg. He suddenly became interested in modern dance and ballet. Max's friends couldn't recognize him, he seemed to have disappeared into a strange world. He screamed inside, but the power of Zara's magic was too strong. The relationship seemed perfect, but in reality it was a cruel deception. His friends' reactions to Max's sudden and drastic change were one of surprise, concern and perplexity. Max had led a completely different life in the past and his friends no longer recognized him. When Max started attending mainstream festivals and musicals in Hamburg and became interested in dance events, his transformation was striking. His friends were confused and surprised at this sudden change in his interests and behavior. After Max broke up with Lena, his friends became seriously worried about him. They realized he was in a strange relationship with a new woman they didn't know. They saw Max distance himself from his original passions and friendships and enter a world that was mysterious to them. Despite their concerns, Max's friends were at a loss as to how they could help him. They didn't know how to deal with the sudden change since Max obviously didn't explain what was really happening to him. His connection to Zara and the magic that weighed on him were a secret that they could not understand. The friends tried to talk to Max and suggest that he had changed, but he seemed so obsessed with his new relationship that he dismissed their concerns. They watched helplessly as he moved further and further away from them, disappearing into a world that was incomprehensible to them. Max's story illustrates how unexpected changes in a person can affect one's social environment and friendships, and how helpless friends can sometimes be in such situations. The experiments Zara conducted on Max led to superficial harmony, but inside he continued to fall apart. Max had a nice time with Zara, at least on the surface. Under the influence of the powerful spell that Zara had cast on him, he was indeed behaving like a teenager in love. It seemed as if he forgot everything around him and only had Zara and her wishes on his mind. Max and Zara spent romantic moments together, went on nature trips, enjoyed the seclusion of their deserted home and seemed to have a perfect relationship. Zara manipulated his thoughts and feelings so skillfully that Max had no doubts about her love. For him, she was the love of his life and he was willing to give up everything for her. However, it was important to understand that this beautiful time was artificially created by Zara. She had captivated Max with her magic, and his actions and emotions were no longer authentic. Max's behavior was a reaction to the spell, not to a real, healthy relationship. It was an ironic and tragic situation because Max, who had once led an independent and diverse life, was driven by the spell into a one-sidedness that he didn't really want. His time with Zara was characterized by an apparent perfection that was actually based on a cruel manipulation that tore Max apart and changed his life forever. Zara, Hele Vides' extraterrestrial researcher, felt her relationship with Max in her own conflicted way. For Zara, Max was primarily a study subject for her research mission on Earth. She came from a galaxy far, far away to study people and learn more about their culture, emotions and relationships. Although Zara used her magic to make Max fall madly in love with her, she probably didn't feel the same kind of love and passion that Max felt for her. Their main goal was to collect data and insights about human emotions and relationships in order to fulfill their mission. Zara involved Max in social experiments where she studied people's behavior and reactions to various situations. She examines the concept of emotional connection to understand love in people. She carried out experiments that investigated the emergence and intensity of feelings between couples. These experiments are designed to study human behavior and reactions to extraterrestrial influences. Max is initially unaware that he is the subject of these experiments, and over the course of his dependence on Zara, he gradually comes to understand Zara's true intentions and goals. Zara sees the relationship with Max primarily as an opportunity to gain valuable information about human feelings and behavior. She was able to study Max's emotions and behavior while he was under the influence of her spell, which was of great interest to her. It is important to emphasize that Zara was an extraterrestrial explorer and her motives on Earth were primarily scientific. For her, the relationship with Max was a means to an end to advance her research. This led to an unequal power balance and an ambiguous dynamic in their relationship, which ultimately had tragic consequences for Max. Zara may have considered taking Max to Hele Vides, as it would have been an intriguing option to further her research and knowledge of humanity. Max was a unique subject of study for her as he was under the influence of her spell and had a strong emotional connection to her. However, the idea of bringing Max to Hele Vides would have raised some challenges and moral questions. It can be assumed that Zara, as a researcher, had ethical considerations as she would have to respect Max's free will and his relationship to his original home and family. It is also possible that Zara realized that her spell on Max had created an unhealthy and obsessive relationship that was not based on love and free will. As a result, she might have decided not to take Max to Hele Vides, but to ultimately separate from him, giving him the freedom and opportunity to find his own life again. Max and Zara's story can serve as a reflection on how the ethical and moral aspects of relationships and research can be questioned in such extraordinary circumstances. Zara had to make a difficult decision that changed Max's life forever. Zara eventually returned to Hele Vides. After completing her research mission on Earth and conducting her experiments on Max, she decided to return to her home planet. There could have been various reasons for her return. It is possible that she had to collect and analyze the knowledge and data she had gained during her stay on Earth. She may also have had ethical and moral considerations, as her relationship with Max was based on a spell and not free will. Breaking up with Max was certainly painful, both for him and for her. Even though Max was under her spell, he had developed real feelings for Zara in some ways, and she had spent time with him and created memories together. Max and Zara's story ended tragically, as Max remained an inode, preserving the memories of the extraordinary encounter with the alien visitor, while Zara returned to her home planet of Hele Vides. When the day of separation came and Zara flew back to Hele Vides, Max was left broken. He wandered aimlessly in the middle of the familiar streets of Munich, looking for fragments of his former identity. The memories of his time with Zara and the change in his life blurred into a painful fog. Enchanted by the universe's web, Max, the architect from Munich, was called from the non. A man who could never forget how he was enchanted and broken by another worldly beauty from the distant planet Hele Vides.